Hello again, everyone. I'm Bill Green of Trinity Episcopal Church in Portland, Maine, and we continue our just popular series of interviewing distinguished members of our congregation. And today, joining us is an integral part of this church who is the Christian with a smile. His name is Doug Crosby. Dougie!
Yes, Bill, how are you?
Good. How'd you happen to come to Trinity Episcopal Church?
Yeah, my wife and I had a fight.
Yeah?
Not really. Okay.
A woman drug you.
We grew up we were living in Reading, Massachusetts.
Yeah?
We went to the Baptist church in Reading, Massachusetts.
Makes sense so far.
She didn't want to go to another Baptist church because they didn't recognize her baptism because it was a young age.
Okay.
Okay, so we decided that we would go to the Episcopal church.
Yep.
And then we would go to the Baptist church.
Okay.
Okay, and we went to the Episcopal church. We sat in the back row up there.
Yep.
And I remember John Dickinson turned around and said, "Hi, how are you? You guys new," and all that stuff, and they really welcomed us. We had a great time. We came back the next week just to make sure that they were still here and everybody was still happy. And we went to church, and Carl showed up at our house.
Carl who?
Carl Russell.
Okay.
All right, that's right. This was Carl Russell. He showed up at our house, and we have never been to the Baptist church.
We were better.
You were better. I don't know if you were better. We never found out.
So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Melrose, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Nancy grew up in Melrose, Massachusetts. But we didn't know each other except my best friend's sister was good friends with Nancy.
Okay.
So I probably knew her,
Yeah.
probably ran into her,
Yeah.
but we didn't. And then after high school, we belonged to a group that met at somebody's house, and they just opened the house to a whole bunch of people who were post-high school,
Yeah.
going to college, that kind of stuff. And I had joined the Navy.
I want to talk to you about the Navy.
Okay.
We'll
good.
get back to the house.
Okay, we're
What
back
did-
to the house.
What did you
okay,
do?
the going away party for me.
Yeah.
And there is my best friend's sister and Nancy making cake. They're serving the cake.
Yeah,
And I
nice.
said, "Wow, she's good looking. I like her."
Yeah.
She's yeah.
That's bad news for the kids, how these things started.
I know. Well, the other thing was, I'm leaving Monday
Yeah.
to go in the Navy. I'm
Yeah.
going to Great Lakes, Wisconsin, and she had a boyfriend. So that was the end of that. And then I came home intermittently. And
Being the
everything.
snake you are, you called her up, see what she's doing.
No,
Called the sister.
actually, I called up other girls in the group and
Yeah.
asked for a date, and we went out and things like that. Most of the time, a bunch of us went out together and we went bowling, or we did
Yeah.
something like 10 people.
Yeah.
I think it was probably, I was in the Navy 3 years, and I had come back from a patrol, and I called up Marilyn, just for a name, but don't know. Well, Marilyn's engaged. And I said, "Well, who else is engaged?" "Just about everybody, Doug." But Nancy isn't. She just broke up with
That
whoever
jerk.
it was. Yeah, so I called her.
Yeah.
And we went out. And
There you go.
we had a good time.
Now tell me about this. What you do in the Navy?
I worked on a nuclear submarine in the engine room.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
What was the name of it?
The Henry L. Stimson. Fighting name.
Yes. Oh, the Russians didn't even dare to come
They
in.
didn't dare to come in with Henry going on the Henry L. Stimson.
Now, where's this picture taken? Did you say off Bermuda?
I'm trying to think of it. Oh, that picture. No, that picture, that's the picture of me in the bottom of the submarine. And my thing, it was an E6. So I had this is probably a month before I'm getting out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it was in the engine, the low level of the conning tower, that
Yeah.
whole section. That was the crew's quarters.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And so, did you see the world?
No.
You didn't see the
I
world?
joined the Navy to see the world, and I saw the inside of a
There
submarine.
you go.
I did see certain things, Road to Spain, Holy Land, Scotland, Roosevelt Roads, Puerto Rico, which was, it was the one thing about the Roosevelt Roads, we went there because the submarine was brand new. When
Where
I
is
got
it?
Pardon me?
Where's Roosevelt Road?
In Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So we all went out, a bunch of us went out together, went drinking, and now there's like 30 guys walking back, and we're sitting on the dock, and I started singing, because I was drunk. Summertime. You know,
Summertime in the living's easy. Yeah, you can hit us with it now.
Right, so anyway. Well, on the submarine, more than half were from the South, Alabama, Tennessee. And when I'm singing, I start singing this, and one of the guys from Alabama Because we used to tease each other like crazy. You know, I didn't know that Robert E. Lee was a steamboat, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And damn Yankee is one word. You know,
Yeah.
okay. He said, yeah, Crosby, what? You're not that bad. We're going to make you an honorary Alabamian. Nice. So I have that's a name I wear with pride, that I am an honorary Alabamian.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, but you didn't stay in the Navy. Why not?
That's an excellent question. No, I didn't like being in the Navy. I didn't like going on patrol. I did 7 patrols on the USS Henry L. Stimson.
How long's a
The
patrol?
last anywhere from 3 months to 3.5 months.
And you're underwater for 3 months.
Yes.
Now,
Well, I'm in the submarine for 3
Right.
months. I wasn't underwater.
Right.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we had a good time. We would be the submarine service is all volunteered.
Yeah.
So we all were there because we wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. We didn't want to. We didn't want to go to Vietnam, so
There you go.
so we joined the submarine service. Yeah, yeah, it was good. I mean, it was all a bunch of people that were intellectually curious,
Yep.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, one of our officers was went to Harvard, and he, as a grad student, they were studying sleep, REM sleep.
Yeah.
Which is brand new.
Yeah.
Very little people,
Yeah.
very few people have heard about it. So he's telling us what he did, and he said about sleep movements and eye movements. And somebody guy says, "You mean REM sleep?" And he said, "Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Why don't you just say it?" Because we knew what he was talking about. We read Popular Science magazine, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was good in that sense. And then what happened was I was getting out for before my last patrol. I didn't have to do my last patrol. I got to go college early out. I got home. I had asked Nancy to marry me before the last patrol. So I got home. Now
Last patrol.
we're going to UMass, and we're living in Melrose, and we have 3 weeks to plan the wedding, which Nancy's mother did, and she did a real good job at it.
That's the way weddings used to be.
Yes,
We're getting
right.
married, and we'll get married in 3 months. It wasn't reserve the date 2 years out. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it was good. We had a lot of fun.
Where we married.
In Trinity Episcopal Church in Melrose, Massachusetts.
Nice.
And the highlight of the whole marriage was they had these big round grates, heating grates.
Yeah.
And my mother was walking up with my father.
You said marriage, you meant wedding.
That's right. Thank you.
Right. I'm trying to save you here. But
I need saving. So my mother was walking up, and she has these high heel shoes. Not high heels,
Oh,
but
no.
similar.
it's either a Marilyn Monroe or she's stuck in the grave.
She's stuck in the grate.
Beautiful, huh?
So now she reaches over to get her foot out, and her hat falls off.
Oh, no.
Okay, so this is okay. Everybody's wondering what's going on. And then my father goes, like that. Well, after that, everybody broke up. We're in the reception hall, and you hear this laughter coming from the congregation. Well, I mean, that set the whole thing off. Everybody is really, really having a good time now. So that was the best. That was the highlight of the wedding.
Yeah. Fun day.
Yep.
All right. But how did you get to Portland, Maine?
The phone company said, "Would you like to go to Portland, Maine?" And I said, "Thanks, but no thanks." And he said, "Would you like to be unemployed?" And I said, "How is Portland, Maine?"
Yeah, I love Portland, Maine.
So we did.
Longfellow lives
So we
there.
went to Portland. The truth is that Nancy and I, when I got out of the Navy,
Yep.
I bought Limerick. I bought land in Limerick.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, you do things that you don't realize. So anyway, if we have land in Limerick, we're coming up from Reading every weekend. It's a 2-hour trip. It's a 3-hour trip sometimes.
Yeah.
We decided to move to Cape Elizabeth the year before. So when they said go to Portland, Maine, it was, okay, this is great. This is fine. We moved to Portland, Maine.
Yep.
And we got lucky in the sense there was, in 1976, there were 3 houses on the market because the interest rate was 6%.
Yeah.
It was neither a buyer's market or a seller's market. There was just nothing going on in real estate. And unless you died.
Yeah.
And so this woman had
But
died.
you know what? In '76, that's just about to me when Portland gets its start. You see the Old
Yes.
Port Tavern.
Right.
Things are starting to happen.
Yeah.
In just
the
about
old-
'76.
the old
That's the
port,
beginning.
The old port is beginning to grow.
Yeah.
Because when I first got here, we would go down the old port and put the phone in for some artist who's running a shop, things like that. Within 3 or 4 years, now you're putting phones in for the store.
Yeah.
You know, then it starts to grow and it starts to grow and it starts to grow.
Where were your children born, and who are they, and what are their
Melrose
names?
Wakefield Hospital.
They were.
They were
Okay.
both born there. My son was born in 1974. My daughter was born in 76 in June, and we moved here in June.
Yep.
So she was born, and then 2 weeks later, we packed up the car.
Yep.
We moved in probably a week before that, and
And-
then she had the baby, and then she moved
Where did you live here?
in Parsons Road,
Where you live?
where I live now.
Since 1976.
76, yes, yep.
You got it paid off yet?
A couple of times.
So
I
you're
mean,
in-
it's college and college loans, and then we bought a house in Arizona, and we used it.
gee.
And
Oh,
you
yeah.
couldn't get a loan in Arizona back then because of the whole housing crisis, so
Yeah.
we mortgaged the house in Massachusetts so we could buy the house in Arizona.
Yeah, I've been there, dear.
Okay.
It's a long story. They'll
Yes,
have to interview
okay.
me.
So-
you're raising a couple kids here in this church.
Yes.
How is it working for the Crosbys?
I don't get the.
Was Trinity a good church for you guys to be in?
Yeah, yes, it was. Yes.
Why?
Why?
What did it look like?
Well, okay, it was good and bad. First part is coming here.
Yeah.
Carl was a great guy.
Yeah.
Carl convinced me to go to confirmation classes.
You?
Me, the
Yeah.
Baptist. The
Doug the
Northern
Baptist.
Baptist when I was going to the confirmation classes in the Episcopal Church. And it was good. Skip was in the class.
Yeah.
And I didn't know Skip at the time. I
Really?
didn't know he was in my class until we were looking at the banner that we all made in that class.
Yeah.
And I said, I made that fish thing. And he said, well, I made this. And I said, you're in my class? Yeah. We didn't know each other.
How many people were in the class?
I'd say 12, 14.
Really?
Yeah.
Pretty good confirmation class.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
How many people are sitting in the seats on Sunday in 1976?
200.
200.
200.
That's what we're aiming for.
Yeah, yeah. There was a night. I remember there was at one point somebody said we have 190 pledges until after 1980, and then we started dropping precipitously.
I'm glad you asked me about, you mentioned 1980, because I wanted to ask you about it, because I knew you'd tell me something about it. Now, 1980
Yes.
is the time that Carl Russell goes to Connecticut and becomes somewhat evangelical?
No, what happened was there's a guy named Rafe Coles, and he comes up from Darien, Connecticut, which is a fully evangelized church.
Is he a priest?
Pardon me?
Is
No,
he-
just
no, just a parishioner, yeah.
And he stands up here.
Yeah.
Now, I missed this because I'm teaching Sunday school. But he stands up and he said, we're going to make this church over in the image of Darien, Connecticut, which is evangelical.
Did he say Darien, Connecticut?
Yeah, right. And so what happens
Not
is...
Jesus Christ, he said Darien, Connecticut.
Right,
Okay.
evangelical. And what happened after that, the church started to fall apart. One of the problems was that Larry had just come back from a sabbatical in England.
Who's Larry?
Did I say Larry?
You said Larry.
I'm
Ralph?
glad you're listening.
Yeah, I'm probably the only one. What's the guy's name?
No,
Oh God, this is bad.
this is
I don't
really. We just talked.
Carl.
Carl. Yeah, Carl had just come back, and I think Carl had become slightly evangelized himself.
Yeah.
We also had a assistant priest, Peter. Do what?
Charismatic.
Charismatic. Thank you for the
Charismatic.
correction. And Peter Pearson, and he was more evangelical.
Yeah.
Charismatic. Whatever.
Charismatic.
Okay, charismatic. Great people. I mean, they stayed at our house when they came up.
Yeah.
They had kids. But it eventually became more and more
Of a split.
two different groups.
Yep.
One group said, Carl said it one to me, we're talking, he says, I don't know who, they don't trust each other, the groups, I can't bring them together. And he said, and we were talking about it, and he said, one group, and I heard him say this, a gentleman I knew, a good friend, he said, the group that's here that doesn't want to put their hands up, they will evolve to that. And the people who watched the other people who put their hands up said, well, they're just showing off. So there was no trust between the two groups.
Yeah.
Even though it was still friendly, it was hard to worship together.
So what happened?
So eventually what happened is a group left, the evangelical charismatic,
Charismatic
group
group.
left and went and founded the whole Church of the Holy
Church of
Spirit.
the Holy Spirit.
But a lot of us didn't go there. They split up, they did everything. They went to the churches that used to be on Carco.
And what happened here? We're down to
Well,
100.
we just kept falling and falling and falling. And then I think at one point we were down to 130 pledges. And from then on it was okay. And then it just seemed that now most churches in Portland, Maine are not growing. They're just
Yeah.
all dissolving.
We're growing right now. I want to say that. You have been a Sunday school teacher.
Yes,
I know that you were on the selection committee that picked Larry Weeks,
right.
which was a good choice. What else have you done around Old Trinity? I know what you've done.
Yeah.
You painted the sanctuary.
Yeah, I was a junior warden twice.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be senior warden at all.
Yep.
Not my bailiwick, not my guy. You know, you have to be good like you to be senior warden. You know, junior
Just keep
warden.
going, Doug.
Yeah, I know I won't, but you
were
were a good senior warden, and
Well,
we should
you're
bring
kind.
that up. Okay.
Thanks.
Let's see.
You did the lights downstairs.
Yeah, during the efficiency main,
Yep.
Skip and I did all the lights. We changed them all from 48 watts to 32 watts.
Yep.
Did the whole downstairs together.
So
and
that
that was a lot of
saves the
fun. That was a
church
lot of fun because we're
everybody.
doing while the kids are there and the teachers are there.
Yeah.
So we became very close with the daycare.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a lot. That was just a lot of fun. The kids were going, "Hi, Mr. Doc. Hi, Mr. Skip." And all
Yeah.
that stuff.
That saves the church a lot of money. And you and Skip, I can't mention Skip enough. We're going to interview Skip and Sarah here in a couple
Right,
of weeks.
okay,
but,
yeah.
you two were the whole staff or whatever.
Right, exactly. At one point, we did not have from lack of funding, we did not have a maintenance person.
Right.
You know, I remember when he's doing 15 hours a week, and we said, that's not enough, we have to pay him to do 20. You know, and a few years later, he's gone. Oh, that's the wrong direction.
Yeah, yeah.
And what happened is I was doing little odd jobs around here and things like that. And Skip retired. When I retired, I was down here 3 or 4 hours a week. Skip retired, and he came down, and we built the shed in the parking lot.
Yep.
We painted the sanctuary.
Yep.
We tore the choir room apart because it smelled and of mold.
You took a wall down there. I
We
know
took
that.
we scuttered the whole room and rebuilt it. And part of it was because that section of the church we can't see right now, where the choir loft is the old church.
Right.
Okay, and then the new church has had it on. When they fitted the basements together, the foundations,
Yeah.
they didn't fit them together. They were just lying up against each other.
Yeah.
There's a river outside here. The river was flowing through the crack in the wall and into the choir room behind the thing, and it would just dry up and smell.
Yeah.
So we dug, and then we dug out outside there, and we put in the cement there, so it wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We did lots of little things like that.
Your kids are grown.
My kids are grown.
Any grandchildren?
Yes, 2. Sam, who's 13, and Kate, who's 7.
Okay.
Both in April.
A miracle, isn't it?
It's a miracle. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yep, right.
So, and you're still kicking around Trinity.
Yes, right. Yes, right. Yes.
Special
I tried to
place.
go to other churches, but they wouldn't take me.
Yeah.
You know, once you're contaminated by being an Episcopalian, they just
Yeah.
won't go to.
Yeah. And you picked Peter. You were on the selection committee that picked Peter. Larry. Excuse
Larry.
me. I was on the selection committee that picked Peter.
Right. Yeah. I didn't see you there.
Yeah. That was an interesting time because of all the travel that you did. And
Yeah, it was. We went to. I mean, we had people going. I remember Beth Johns and can't think of his name.
Whatever.
Yeah, whoever. Hanson. Nope. Anyway, they
Art.
went. No,
Art Hanson?
no.
Okay.
Went out to Arizona.
Yep.
And interviewed Larry.
Yep.
And then we called Larry.
Yep.
And then Larry said he can't come.
Right.
Because his wife was pregnant, and she said that I'm not going anywhere being pregnant. And then I went out to South Dakota with the same person whose name I can't remember.
Yeah.
And we interviewed Ann Barlow, and we wanted her to come real bad. And we called her, and she said no. And the thing is, it was crazy because her lifelong dream was to come back to Portland, Maine area and be a priest. And when she got that, it said, oh, maybe it isn't. So she wound up on the West Coast in a church that my wife's best friend attended.
Marilyn. We know her from.
Yeah. And she stayed there 3 years, and then she left there because there was a big deal going on with the church because the church was 10 years old,
Doesn't
and
matter.
people who built the church were fighting with the vestry of the church.
It's
And
about Trinity. It's about Trinity.
yeah, right.
Keep
yeah.
talking about Trinity.
Oh, Trinity.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, she became a deacon in Western
Yeah.
Oregon.
But
Trinity,
the interesting thing about the Weeks, one of the many things interesting about the Weeks family is Elliot Weeks,
Yeah.
who's now a senior at the University of Maine.
Is amazing. Yeah, it's amazing.
He's the greatest guy.
Yeah.
He was, Marcy went into labor on September 11th. He was born September 12, 2001.
Oh,
And so Elliot, who's a cool dude, got a kind of interesting start
I
in
had
the world right
forgotten
there. Yeah.
Maybe-
So what do you have to say about Trinity? How we doing?
Yes, good. Lots of good people. I mean, we'll have a lot of fun.
New faces showing up.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
That's why we need name tags because
I'm not-
I don't remember their names even when they have name tags, and they have no idea.
when
who
I
I
run the place, everybody's going to wear name tags
right,
every
okay,
day,
yeah.
all the time.
All the time.
24/7.
Yep, right.
Well, Doug, thank you for all you've done for Trinity Church. You
Yep.
are an amazing guy. You're a lot of fun. And I know when Carl Russell came to your house and kind of locked you guys in on coming here, he also locked the Greens in because the first day the Greens came here, you came up and worked us over.
Oh.
And that was welcoming, and we appreciated it a lot.
That's good because I do remember saying at the time, I'm talking to your wife. I have no idea who Pam is,
Yeah.
and she's waiting for her children. And she said, my husband is Bill Green, and he says, oh, who's he? And he goes. Then she tells me you were a sportscaster, and I remember saying, well, I don't watch TV. But then I realized I knew you. I just didn't put the name and the person together.
Now, Pam is going to deny that story because she never drops my name. I sometimes wonder if she's ashamed of me. So I'm going to get
she
her.
dropped your name that time.
I'm going to get her side of the story sometime.
well,
Maybe I'll interview her right here. That'd be a good interview, wouldn't it?
Whatever she says, she's lying.
Yeah.
And the last thing I like to, we were really lucky that we picked competent, really, really competent people to marry.
You and me.
Yeah, we
yeah.
did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pam and Nancy are very, very competent people.
Yeah, and I didn't even have to join the Navy to do it, Doug. I'm just saying. So. Anyway, thank you so much for being with us. Doug Crosby, one of the essential guys who's done more for this church than he'll ever be given credit or thanks for. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back soon with another interesting Episcopalian. Have a great afternoon.